अस्तु नमः सर्वेभ्यः सुस्वागतम्। प्रार्थनां कृत्वा प्रारम्भं करिष्यामः। सर्वे आगमिष्यन्ति। ॐ गणानां त्वा गणपतिं हवामहे कविं कवीनामुपमश्रवस्तमं ज्येष्ठराजं ब्रह्मणान् ब्रह्मणस्पदानुशृण्वन्नोतिभिः सीदसादनम् श्रीमहागणपतये नमः। ॐ प्रणो देवी सरस्वती वाजेभिर्वाजिनीवती दीनामवित्यवत् आनो दिवो बृहतः पर्वतादा सरस्वती यजता गन्तु यज्ञम् हवन् देवी जुजुषाणा घृताची षड्मान्नो वाचमुषति शृणोतु श्रीवाग्देव्यै नमः। अगजानन पद्मार्कं गजाननं महर्निशम् अनेकदन्तं भक्तानां एकदन्तम् उपास्महे। कामिनी स्वप्रकाशिनी काश्मीरपुरवासिनी विद्यादायिनी त्वं देवी त्वद्विन्देहं सदा। अज्ञानतिमिरान्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मीलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। वाक्यकारं वररुचिं भाष्यकारं पतञ्जलिं पाणिनिं सूत्रकारं च प्रणतोऽस्मि मुनित्रयम्। श्रीगुरुभ्यो नमः। हरिः ओम्। सर्वेभ्यः सुस्वागतम्। अद्य कक्षायां सर्वे प्रथमतः एकवारं परिचयं दास्यामः। अस्माकं परिचयं दास्यामः। अस्तु वा? परिचयं दत्वा किं करिष्यामः एतद् वर्गे पूर्णवर्षे किं करिष्यामः इति एकवारं जानीमः। तदनन्तरं किं करिष्यामः एकैकं पाठं गृहीत्वा पश्यामः। अस्तु वा? यत्किमपि भवति गतवर्गे संस्कृते सम्भाषणं बहु सम्भाषणं न कृतवन्तः। अल्पं सम्भाषणं संस्कृते एव कृतवन्तः। अद्यतनवर्गे किञ्चित् विश्लेषण कृत्वा संस्कृते सम्भाषणं कर्तुं प्रयत्नं कुर्मः। अस्तु वा? सर्वे परिचयं दातुम् इच्छन्ति वा? का प्रारम्भं कर्तुम् इच्छति? सुब्रह्मण्य महोदय भवान् करोतु।
नमस्ते महोदय।
श्रूयते वदतु।
मम नाम सुब्रह्मण्यः अस्ति। अहं कोयम्बत्तूर् नगरे वसामि। So I'm basically a working professional. So I am heading the IT department of a mid-sized manufacturing company in Coimbatore, so which manufactures bearings for the pump industry. So I am based out of Coimbatore. Basically, I am a mechanical engineer. So in 1985 batch. So that's, but I am into IT for all the 35 years. That's my background, and I am based out of Coimbatore.
इति कक्षायाः किं ज्ञातुम् इच्छति भवान्?
अद्य कक्षा
अद्यतन पूर्णवर्षे वर्षपर्यन्तम्
So nothing specific. This just wanted to continue the journey of learning Sanskritam. So actually, when I joined Sasyam, I thought I want to have some feel of the language. And after getting into that, the interest that had created, I want to continue the journey till the end. So I am continuing the journey to the next level. But I don't have any specific agenda like this. I just want to learn the language.
उत्तमं धन्यवादाः
धन्यवादः
जयबालाम्बिका महोदय भवान् किमिच्छति वा
मम नाम जयबालाम्बिका अहं बेङ्गळूरु नगरे वसामि
किमर्थम् आगन्तुमिच्छति भवती
संस्कृत भाषा और अधिकं I need to learn more.
You want to learn more? अस्तु यदि संस्कृते किञ्चित् क्लिष्टं भविष्यति चेत् आङ्ग्लपदाम् उपयोगं कर्तुं शक्यते न्यूनं कृत्वा सर्वे जानीमः अस्तु वा प्रयत्नं करोतु सर्वे प्रयत्नं कुर्वन्तु संस्कृते वक्तुं किञ्चित् क्लिष्टं भविष्यति प्राथमिकस्तरे किञ्चित् क्लिष्टं भविष्यति अग्रे बहु सुलभं भविष्यति जानीमः धन्यवादाः नागप्रभा महोदय
नमस्ते महोदय नमः सर्वेभ्यः मम नाम नागप्रभा अहं मङ्गलूरुनगरे वासं कुर्वन् अस्मि
उत्तमम्
अहं एका योगशिक्षिका अस्मि अहं संस्कृतभाषा बहु रोचते मह्यं रोचते
उत्तमम्
ज्ञानाभिवृद्धि प्रयुक्तम् अहं संस्कृतपठन इच्छामि पठितुम् इच्छामि
उत्तमम्
शृणोमि अपि बहु आनन्दम् अनुभवामि
उत्तमम्
तदर्थं
बालकालेभ्यः एव योगां करिष्यति वा भवती अथवा इदानीं
बालकालेभ्यः पर्यन्तं योगा
करिष्यति उत्तमम् इदानीं भवती पाठयति योगशास्त्रं पाठयति वा योगा पाठयति वा
योगशास्त्रं न योगशास्त्रम् अहं छात्रा अस्मि
योगछात्र अस्तु उत्तमम् परन्तु पाठयति भवती आसन प्राणायाम ध्यान पाठयति उत्तमम् यमनियम सर्वे जानन्ति सर्वे आगन्तुं शक्यते चेत् यमनियम कृत्वा आगमिष्यन्ति भवत्याः समीपे उत्तमम् अस्तु किं ज्ञातुम् इच्छति इदानीम् अत्र
अहम् अग्रे व्याकरणं सम्यक् अन्वयरचना व्याकरणं ज्ञानं प्राप्तुम्
इच्छति उत्तमं धन्यवादाः महोदय जयिता महोदय
नमो नमः मम नाम जयिता मुखर्जी अस्ति अहं लंडन नगरे वसामि अहं क्षम्यतां long gap with Sanskrit for me. I completed Pravesha of Sanskrit Bharati exam maybe 3 years ago and started Parichaya and couldn't complete, but little bit I did. So since then, bit of gap has happened. So I want to continue from that journey with Sanskritam. And I'm a homemaker. I have 2 young children. Well, not very young, teenagers now, but that is my primary job, homemaker. Dhanyawad.
जयिता महोदय अपि नागप्रभा महोदय प्रथमतः आशा सेवा केन्द्रे आगमिष्य स्तः इति मन्ये।
आम्।
सत्यं वा? सुस्वागतम्। अन्य छात्राः नीलिमा महोदय, सुब्रमण्य महोदय सर्वे प्रथमस्तर आसन्। अस्तु, उत्तमम्। नीलिमा महोदय एकवारं परिचयं ददातु भवत्याः। ध्वनिमुद्रिका इदानीं श्रूयते। वदतु। किञ्चित् एको भविष्यति, भवत्याः मैक् समीपे ध्वनिमुद्रिका समीपे आगत्य वदतु। आम् आम् आम्।
इदानीं अहं बेङ्गलूरुनगरे वसामि।
आङ्ग्लायां वदतु, चिन्ता नास्ति।
I was a teacher. Now, of course, I am retired, and I divide my time between Bengaluru and Hyderabad. So, looking forward to getting some more knowledge.
तो एक विषय, नीलिमा महोदय योगा अभ्यासं बहवः कुर्वन्ति न वा? भवती मीरा महोदयायाः छात्रा अस्ति किल? उत्तमम्। अत्र नागप्रभा महोदय अपि अस्ति, सापि योगा शिक्षिका। अस्तु, उत्तमम्। सुशीला महोदय एकवारं। सुशीला महोदय ओके, अस्तु। मध्ये सुशीला महोदय आगच्छतु।
नमस्कारः महोदय, सर्वेभ्यः नमस्कारः। मम नाम सुशीला। अहं गतवर्षे जयश्री महोदये भवतः कक्षायां सस्यं पठिष्यति अपठत्। अहं गृहिणी। प्रवेशपरीक्षायाम् अहं समीचीनं I am working for it.
उत्तमं, धन्यवादाः। नीलिमा महोदय, भवती आगतवती वा? यत् किं वक्तुम् इच्छितवती?
No, I just wanted to say that Nagaprabha Mahoday was with us in our last year's Abhyas Varga class.
भवती जानाति? उत्तमम् 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 उत्तमं, सुस्वागतं सुस्वागतम्। अस्तु, मीनाक्षी महोदय।
Namaste, sir. Okay, so I am a software professional and I am doing my MSc also in yoga. And as I'm a yoga instructor also. I have attended before this Sasyam classes with Narayan sir.
Oh.
Yeah. But due to my examinations, I missed a lot of classes after December. I was not regular in those classes. I have missed a lot of portion in the end. Videos I have covered.
अस्तु, का संस्थायां कार्यं करिष्यति भवती?
Tata Consultancy Services.
अस्तु, TCS मध्ये कार्यं करिष्यति। उत्तमम् उत्तमम्।
Same, I am missing few classes in this batch also. Again, I have examination, but I'll cover through videos.
I'm sure भवती करिष्यति 7 सम्यक् भविष्यति इति मन्ये भवतु 7 o'clock is okay for you?
Timing?
Yeah.
Yeah, perfect.
उत्तमं सुस्वागतं Okay, then next is Ashwini Mahodaya.
सर्वेभ्यः नमस्कारः मम नाम अश्विनी अहं बेंगळूरु नगरे वसामि अहं वास्तुवित् अस्ति मम
वास्तुवितः कः इति एकवारं विश्लेषणं करोतु
वास्तुवित् means architect even I was trying to find out a word for landscape designer but I don't know I'm self-employed and मम संस्कृत भाषा बहवः प्रिय अस्ति
वास्तु स्पेशलिस्ट नास्ति भवती वास्तु शिल्पकला कलायां उद्यमं करिष्यति सत्यं वा because today there is a lot of difference between vastu consultants versus architects
yeah
so you are not a vastu consultant bhavati we don't want that sort of vastu consultants there's a lot of vastu shilpakala बहु उत्तमं प्रचलति अस्माकं देशे परन्तु अद्यतन वास्तु विश्लेषज्ञः मास्तु ते यत्किमपि उच्यन्ते तद् सत्यं वा असत्यं वा शास्त्रे किं भविष्यति एते केपि न जानन्ति किमर्थं कुत्र किं भवेयुः ते न जानन्ति they have no idea why what is Agneya versus what is Nairitya and what is Ishanya. So there are reasons and there are ways that town planning has to be done, that has to be in sync with town planning. So Swagatam. So yes, Ashwini Mahodaya Gatavarge api asit. So Suswagatam. Punah Suswagatam. Gauri Mahodaya.
नमस्कार महोदय नमः सर्वेभ्यः मम नाम गौरी अहं जर्मनी देशे वसामि इदानीम् अहं प्रवेशकक्षां कृतवती परीक्षा अपि कृतवती उत्तीर्णा भवती अपि इदानीं परिचयः
भवन्तः
परिचय मध्ये व्याकरणं अन्वयं सन्धि इति पठितुम् इच्छामि तथैव लता सस्यं कृतवती इदानीं लता
आगतवती उत्तमम् अस्तु निशा महोदय सा विशेष अतिथिः अस्माभिः एकवारं परिचयं दातुम् इच्छति वा
सर्वेभ्यो नमस्कारः मम नाम निशा बेंगळूरु नगरे वसामि I am a homemaker and I want to learn Sanskrit because I like it. I like to read the scriptures and also to teach my daughter who is learning Sanskrit in school. It is helpful. So I have joined self-class. Last time also I was there, but I have not studied much. So let's hope this time I'll be able to give more time and be a better student in Sanskrit.
सर्वे भवामः
धन्यवादः
सर्वे अत्र छात्राः भवामः अस्तु विजया महोदय अस्ति भवती
सर्वेभ्यः नमस्कारः मम नाम विजया अहं बेङ्गलूरुनगरे वसामि। संस्कृतभाषा प्रियमस्ति। And I'm a recruiter. I'm into recruitment.
HR professional. अस्तु. मानव संशोधन कार्यं करिष्यति. कुत्र?
It's a private company, it's a consultancy.
अस्तु. भवत्याः संस्था एव वा अथवा अन्य कस्याः संस्था वा?
No, it's our own.
उत्तमम्. So उत्तमम्. Why would you like? What would you like to learn in the year?
Basically, my kids are studying in Kendriya Vidyalaya. So for them to teach, I started liking the Sanskrit language. Now I want to learn the grammar part. Basically, that Sandhi and Samasa, the difference and all these things I'm unable to differentiate. So I want to learn. So I finished it successfully. That Sasyam and I entered Lataa.
उत्तमं. सस्यं कस्य कक्षायाम् आसीत् भवती?
अनिल महोदय.
अनिल पुगुलिया. उत्तमं. स गतवान् कुत्रापि. स न पाठयति इति वक्तुं गतवान्.
अच्छा.
He said he was not going. He has too much work, so he's not teaching. He was one of the best teachers here.
Okay.
उत्तमं. सर्वेभ्यः धन्यवादाः. Is there anyone who needs to introduce? कोऽपि परिचयं न दत्तवान् वा? दत्तवान् अथवा दत्तवती? सर्वे दत्तवन्तः? I saw one more name. Okay, there are only 13 now. Okay. अस्तु. एकं कार्यम् इदानीं करिष्यामः. अद्य सर्वे अनुबन्धचतुष्टयम् इति जानन्ति वा? अनुबन्धचतुष्टयम् अर्थात् किम्?
न महोदय.
न. अस्तु. अस्माकं शास्त्रे यदा कदापि एवं प्रथमस्तरे शास्त्रज्ञानं प्राप्तुमिच्छन्ति चेत् तत्र किं करिष्यामः, किमर्थं करिष्यामः, कः विषयः, मम अपि तु विषयोः मध्ये सम्बन्धः कः, तदनन्तरं अहं तस्य अधिकारी अस्मि वा अथवा नास्मि वा, अपि तु तस्य प्रयोजनं किम् इति चतुर् प्रश्नाः पृष्ट्वा अग्रे गमिष्यन्ति जनाः. सर्वेषु शास्त्रेषु इति इट्स् नॉर्म उच्यन्ते किल आङ्ग्लभाषायां. तत्र अनुबन्धचतुष्टयम् इति उच्यन्ते. एकवारं पश्यामः अनुबन्धचतुष्टयं के इति. प्रथम वदतु दिशा महोदय. You raise your hand.
Yeah, is it qualification or?
So this is about, this consists of 4 parts. One is what is the subject matter that we are going to study.
Okay.
That is the Vishaya.
Okay.
What is the connection between this Vishaya and me? Is it something related to me? How is it related? What is the relation between that subject and me, as well as to the entire world? That is the second part, Sambandha. The third part is about Adhikari. Who is eligible? What is the eligibility criteria? What are the prerequisites? Uchyante kila Angla Bhashayam.
Yes, yes.
To take this up, Adhikari. Ke Adhikarinah. The fourth one is prayojanam. What is the use of doing this whole thing? Should we spend 1.5 hours per week for the next 52 weeks? Is a question. So we'll figure out if that is worth it for all of us or not. First step. That is, we'll take step by step and then go into each details.
Okay. Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So Vishayah kaha किं जानीमः अत्र कक्षाय अद्यतनवर्गे पूर्णवर्षे प्रथमतः काव्यांशे व्याकरणांशे विशेषणभावः किं भविष्यति इति प्रथमस्तरे. What is the connection between an adjective and the noun? Visheshya. Visheshana is the adjective, Visheshya is the noun. What is the connection between these two in a sentence? How do we use them? We have all said, Sthulaha balakaha gachati. Lambodaraha gamishyate. Yasya udaraha lambaha asti. Astu kila? We have seen all this. How do we connect an adjective to a noun? That is the first step in a vyakarana. We will do that part. Tadanantaram sarve atra gatavarge kartari prayogam kritavantaha. Satyam va? Everybody understands what is kartari prayoga? Okay. All of us spoke something in Sanskritam. Mama nama, aham idam karishyami, aham tat, aham idam, etc. etc. Aham karyalayam gamishyami, aham karyalayam gatva karyam karishyami. Aham tat Subramani Mahodaya uktavan, aham IT professional asmi. Satyam va? Aham karyalayam gamishyami. Pratah kale aham karyalayam gamishyami. Now here the emphasis is on aham or me. Sa vriksham pashyate. The emphasis is on saha. Rameshaha kandukena kridate. Rameshaha vahanena karyalayam gamishyate. Rameshaha is the person in focus. Here we have a person in focus and an action. Gamishyati was the action. Person in focus was Rameshaha. That is what is called Karta Pradhana. So if you remember, those of you who attended my class, Mama Kaksha ye janaha agatavantaha, I had done some rules of this vibhakti. Karta swatantra, karturipsitamam karma. People recollect it? Or everything is forgotten?
No, Mahodaya.
So basically, Karta is Swatantra. Karta is always Swatantra. So that these were certain rules. Here, now from Swatantra, we are looking at what is the Pradhanika Pradhana. In Ramesha Karyalayam Vahanena Karyalayam Gamishyate, Ramesha is Pradhana. That is what is called Karta Pradhana. There are two components. One is Karta Swatantra, which is a universal rule. Then there is a concept of Pradhana. Karta Pradhana. The emphasis is on Ramesh. He can as well go to Udyanam. Rameshaha Udyanam Vahanena Gamishyate. I can say the same thing. Still, the person doing it, the Pradhana is Ramesha. That is Kartari. The same thing I can say as that is Ramesh is going to the office in a car. Ramesh is going. The other way of saying it is in a car, Rameshena Karyalayam Vahanena Gamishyati. The office was Ramesh went to the office by a car. That is one way of saying it. Another way of saying it is, or let's take another example. Rameshaha pustakam padishyati. The book, Ramesh read the book. That is one way of putting it. Another way of putting it is, the book was read by Ramesh. The second form. In the case of book was read by Ramesh, book becomes the more important object. I can as well say the book was read by Karthik. Right? Who read the book is secondary. The book itself takes the more important aspect. That becomes, if you look at it, in the first time when we said Ramesha Pustakam Patati, Pustakam Karma Padam Asit, Ramesha Karta Asit. Correct? Rameshena Pustakam Patati is the second way of saying it. The book was read by Ramesh. We'll do this in very detail, but I'm just giving some hints today, nothing more. We'll get into very detailed stuff. So that is what is called active and passive voice in English. Okay. So we'll do a lot of that. That is the second thing. Then there is what is called Kridantadi. So to give an example, Gatavan, Gatavati, Gatavantaha. This is coming from a dhatu, gam dhatu, but some transformation has made it into a noun all of a sudden. So we'll see how those transformations happen and why they are there. That is the third part. Of course, a lot of people said we want to learn Sandhi. So we are going to have two forms of Sandhi. Swara Sandhi and Visarga Sandhi we'll see in this one. We'll not see Vyanjana Sandhi, we may not get into in this level, but we'll see if we can get some this one. Finally, if time permits, this last part is a big if, Sati Saptami Prayoga. We'll see if we can cover this small part also. Okay. This is Vyakarna, the core Rasa Rahita Vyakarna, as they say. Okay, we'll be doing without too much of ado. But there is a lot of it in the Sahitya part. Anya Vishayeshu, Bahu Rasa Varjita na Rasotpanna Sahityam Pashyamaha. Gatavarge Ye Janaha Mama Kakshayam Agatavantaha Te Gangavataranam Kritavantha. Satyam va? Idani Adyatana Varge Sangshepa Ramayanam Atva Shatashloki Karishyamaha. Kinchit Vishleshanam Adhika Vishleshanam Kritva Karishyamaha Idani. Anvaya Krama, Purnataha Anvaya Krama, Pratipadartham, Sandhi api jananti to yatkim api sandayaha etam purvam yesha purvam pashyamaha. Astu va? Tadanantaram ekam kavya katha api karishyamaha. Alpa kavya katha, purna kavya katha na Raghuvamsham bahu vistirnam asti. Raja Dilipasya shapa nivaranam. Kinchit nyunam. Kavyagata Pashyamaha Sahitya Bhage. Tadanantaram Kenatana Subhashita Kani Subhashitani Santi Chatu Shlokaha Api Santi Samasya Purna. Anybody knows what is Samasya Purna?
One word is given and you have to frame a poem or a sentence with that same word, with that word.
Frame a sentence. That is not this one. That is if you are talking of, that is in Avadhana Kala it comes. That is a different. That is another one. That is not Samasya Purna. Samasya Purna is different from Dattapadi. What you are doing is Dattapadi. They'll give you a word or they'll give you a context and you have to frame this one out of it. That is a little different from Samasya Purna. Samasya Purna refers to something a little different. Samasya Purna is something like saying, Parvati does not see Shiva's face. Or saying, moon is landing on earth. So you have to complete that with a contextual framing of that with that example. We'll look at some of them, and they are very, very interesting ways of doing it. Very interestingly, people have completed. We'll look at some 5 or 6 of them. That is part of the so-called syllabus. Okay, that is the first. That is what we need to do for this this session, this whole year. Okay. So for today, what I want to do is, and this is something we will take the first few classes very seriously with this, in order to get ourselves a little more comfortable with Vyakarana. First and foremost, I want you all to change the way we are looking at the Aksharamala. In the very first class of Satyam, we had in some ways we had seen what is Maheshwara Sutra. Satyam va? Maheshwara Sutra. This was just the Vishaya, what we are going to see. I will also, before I get there, let me complete everything else. Anubandha Chatushtay. Sambandha, of course, this is, I don't need to get too much into this. This is the Deva Bhasha. Sarvashu Bhasha so Janani. Sarvebhya Jananti. So it is important that we know a little bit of it, at least because we are born in the country called Bharata Deshe. Janitavantah. Tadartham Kinchit Yatum Asmabhihi Kartavya. Adhikarinaha Ke. Who are eligible to get this knowledge? Who are okay? What are the prerequisites to go about getting this, attending this Lataa course? Right. People who have some idea of Subanta, Tigantas. Everybody understands what are Subantas and Tigantas? Anybody who has doubts about it? What are Subantas?
I don't know, sir. I don't know. Can you please tell?
Who was that?
Me, sir. Jaya Balamvika.
Subantas are the noun forms. Tigantas are the verb forms. I'm sure you have done this. Vibhakti. When you have done the Vibhakti part, those are all Subantas. When you have done all the Lakaras, they are all Tigantas. This is just a technical name for that. I'm sure you have done this, Jayambala.
Yes, yes.
That is all. Nothing. I've just put them in a form that probably which will, if it is scaring you, don't worry, you have done this. Everybody from the faces I know here, everybody has done this. Nobody is there who has not done this part. Okay. We have also done in the Subanta part, we have done Akaranta, Akaranta, Ikaranta, Ikaranta, Ukaranta, Shabdaha. You can all go in the Vibhakti. Ramaha, Ramo, Ramaha, etc., etc., etc. Correct?
Yes.
We have also covered Lat, Lang, Lot, and Rit Lakaraha. Anybody who has not covered these 4 Lakaras? Everybody is comfortable with these 4 Lakaras? In Atmanepadi and Parasmaipadi.
Sir, I will have to revise. I have done, but I need to revise them.
Chinta nasti. Please just. These are the only 4. If you have the Bhasha Pravesha book or the Pravesha book, that will give you these forms. What are Atmanepadi and Parasmaipadi? Then Kartari Prayoga. We just spoke about Kartari Prayoga. All of us can form some basic sentences. Right? This is all that is sort of a prerequisite. If you have any doubts, please shoot out right away, we can probably revise a little before we get in, because I don't want anybody to be left out before we what we are talking about. Okay. Anybody want some basic pointers or some revision around this? Okay, everybody is comfortable. Good. Fantastic. I'm so glad. Okay. Now, prayojanam kim idam krutva. At the end of this whole exercise, agrime varshe chaitra mase, idanim ashada masam bhavishyati, agrime varshe chaitra ज्येष्ठ मासे मंगलं करिष्यामः लता वर्गस्य अस्तु वा तत्र किं भविष्यति किञ्चित् अस्माकं ज्ञानं वर्तते इति चिन्तयामः संस्कृते व्यवहारं कर्तुं शक्यते साहित्येषु रुचिः वर्तते These are the three objectives of this whole course. This is all that I am hoping that we will be able to do with this whole 1 year of exercise. Any questions, anything that people want to ask, anything, we will pause for a few minutes here.
Narayan Mahodaya was saying that the whole course is going to be divided into 2 semesters.
Okay, yeah, okay. The 2 semester part is just, I think, a placeholder and a marker there. The point is that, we want to do some sort of an assessment in terms of are we progressing in the right way or not. So frankly, I'm not a very big stickler for homeworks or exams and things. As long as I'm comfortable, I know that all of you are learning and all of you are good with something, I'm okay with it. Yes, we will have some form of an exam or some form of an assessment by December or something. Okay, which will probably be about what all we have covered there. I think that's what it should be, but that should not be the way we should take it. I'm not somebody who will be looking at marks, and I'm assuming nobody is here to look for a certificate at the end of it and put it up there saying I've done this much. So yes, this will be a little bit more rigorous than Sasyam. There will be some level of rigor, and I'm sure all of us will cope up with it. So there is nothing to be very apprehensive about something. Any other question?
It's going to be a 10-month course, Mahodaya, or what?
Yes, Mahodaya. So, okay, it so happens that Lataa and Kamalam, this is based on the Parichaya syllabus and the Kovida syllabus. That is, Parichaya is the Lataa part, Kovida is the Kamalam part. It so happens even with Samskrita Bharati that these are 2 sessions, these are 2 parts where a lot of topics are covered. So we want to spend, and this is where the foundations are laid. Sasyam is basically about just getting an introduction into it. So a lot of foundation is laid in this Lataa and the Kovida portions. So this is where we would like to spend a lot of time. So perhaps, yes, the idea is to finish by 10 months, but maybe just plan it for an additional month given it is Lataa. Okay. So, yes, there will be some level of, I will make it a little more rigorous this time, in the sense that I will put out some set of homeworks, not that I am going to ask you to give me the homework and I'm correcting, I'm going to be penalizing you, nothing of that sort. I'm not going to do anything of that sort. All that I'm going to do is give you the answer as well. But try it in your own interest, do them. It is important because these are concepts which can be easily forgotten because they are not in day-to-day practice. Right? So it is good if you can just express yourselves a little more, and that's where Samskrute vaktum shakyate chet uttamam bhavishyati. let us at least speak for these 1.5 hours in Sanskritam. Try at least. So that we are enhancing our knowledge base or the vocabulary base or in Sanskritam. Okay. And then correcting ourselves in grammar, etc. Okay. So that part of the homework and everything, yes, there are some things you can upload on Google Drives and all those things. We will see how to do that and all those aspects. Not something very critical, but maybe it is in everybody's interest so that we are not left out at the end of it. That is all. Okay. So that is how this will be. And any other questions? Vijaya Mole, you had some question?
No.
Astu. Anybody else? Any questions? Anything?
Will these books be used, Mahodaya, for homework or something? The books which are recommended, those they'll use.
Yes, mostly it is the RSS books that we have, Rashtriya Samskrita Samsthan books. Okay, these are very good books to have, in fact. So one level, yes, I can pull out some things and give you as homeworks. I mean, that is not the key. But in your own self-interest and reading, these will help you quite a bit if you can do some practices. Dvitiya Diksha, Prathama Diksha and Dvitiya Diksha are something very, very good. And you should try to do them. Okay, because the homework that I will give, probably I'll design them myself out of it. I don't want to pull out from some book and give it. I'll try to give them from my whatever I can and do it. So that is how this will be. But don't look for too much of homework and all. I'm not somebody who wants to load you with homeworks. I want you to understand concepts and start using them. That is what is more important for me. Okay. So that is what it is. One more point. I don't think this has been covered much. There is a book. We'll be doing a lot of Sakshepa Ramayana. Just like we did Ganga Avataranam last time. We'll do the whole of Sakshepa Ramayana. Even though we only need to do about 25 shlokas as per the syllabus per se. But what we will do all the 100 because it makes sense. Ramayana is something that we all like, so let's read it. It's not a bad idea. It's Narada Muni's Vyakhana of Ramayana to Valmiki. So that is what is called Shatashloki. So for that purpose, I will be using one book that is also from Rashtriya Shikshana Samsthan. Amba Kulkarni's site has a lot of that in detail itself, but it will be good if you can have that. Let me open up this one, Amba Kulkarni's site. This is Amba Kulkarni's site. Let me share that with you. This is the whole idea. So we have this, if you look at this, if you go here, Mula Shloka, Shlokanvaya, it will give you this much. Then it will give you, in each of these, it will give you the whole, how did this come up? Tapasa Swadhyaya, Niratam, Tapasaha, Swadhyaya, all these details it will give you. This site, this is the University of Hyderabad site. Okay, I'll just paste this in the chat for everybody's reference. This book is, there's a book by Rashtriya Samskrita Samsthan which has this in very detail. It has the samasa and other components as well. So if you can procure the book, well and good. But if it is it's the Tritiya Diksha. It is not the Dvitiya Diksha, it is the Tritiya Diksha, Sakshepa Ramayanam. That is the name of the book. Okay. If you can get it, well and good. If you cannot, it's okay. We'll refer to this site. Another good book for Sakshepa Ramayana is this. This is from Vyoma. So this is called Ramayana Ratnamala. So this is okay. This is good in the sense that this only gives you the different the Padacheda. It does not give you in detail all the samasa, sandhi and other components, but it's okay. This book is also good. It is at least curated well. This is written well and curated well. These two books I will be referring to for my for at least the Ramayana part. Okay, it may not be in the next month, but post that we'll start. Once we start the Anvaya Krama, it will be useful. Okay, once we do a little bit of Sandhi and this one. Okay, you may want to get one of these books at least, or Amba Kulkarni's site, you can use that. Okay.
Other book also, Sankshepa Ramayana of what RSS will do.
What was that, Susila Mahodaya?
I said RSS book of Sankshepa Ramayana will do, or we have to get this Ratnamala also.
No. One book will do. That RSS book is the best book actually, but I understand a few of them are out of print, and then there are problems in procuring. That is the only reason I am giving you an alternative. Otherwise, that is the best book to have, and that is the book we should all refer to. Okay. Jayita Mahodaya, you were saying something.
Yes, Mahodaya. So I am in London. So here from Sanskrita Bharati, I found out. So they have the first 3-4 books, the ones that are published by Sanskrita Bharati. And I think Prayoga Vistara also they have. So I have purchased, it's on the way, it should get to me. But the Rashtriya Sanskrita Samsthan, they don't have anything. So I actually I had asked on the group. So Narayanan sir had given a contact, but then some others said that apparently these books were out of stock. So I was just hoping, can you suggest from where to purchase the Rashtriya Sanskrit Samsthan books?
Yeah, okay. Now, one of the ways is that I don't know whether that is you can. Let's connect offline. I'll tell you what can be done.
Okay.
Because you are in London, probably will need to look at ways to get it. Okay, we'll do that. Okay. Any other questions?
Mahodaya, but at the end, we will be writing the Parichaya Samskrita Bharati exam. So we have to buy that book as well, right?
That Parichaya book, if you register for Samskrita Bharati, you will get that book. That was given. This is the book you are referring to, right?
Yes.
Yes, this book you will get if you register for the exam. And this time, I think Asha Seva Kendra is not going to help register. You'll have to put that additional effort of registering. So at the end of the year, you'll have to, when the dates are out, they'll just tell you, but you'll have to contact either the Rajapalyam or your nearest center and then write the exam. Okay. So those of you who have written it earlier should not have a problem elsewhere. But if you are dependent on Asha Seva Kendra last time to write the exam, this time probably we are not facilitating it.
Then in that case, we can register it now itself. We'll get the book so that start preparing parallelly.
Now the catch is that if you register now, they'll give you an exam date in January.
But that's an option, right? So you can choose.
Yeah, you can push the date further by another 6 months. Yeah, you can do that. Frankly, you can do that. Yeah, you can get the book. But yeah, frankly, this book will give you a lot of information, but we need to get a lot more into detail, which we will be covering. Yes, it is not a bad idea to just have this book for the Kavyamsha and other things. It will give you some references on what to do and what not to do. Yes. Any other questions?
But that isn't a must, right? Is it? This Pravecha book and Parichaya book?
Parichaya book is not a must at this point in time, at least, because I'll be referring to them and I'll put all my slides around that. So there is nothing that will be there in the book which I may not be covering. If it is there, I'll let you know. Okay. Okay. Anything else? In which case, let's go to one additional thing that let us do. Given that we have started today, and let's remember the Varnamala. Okay. Maheshwara Sutrani. Everybody has heard this. Vrittavasane Nataraja Rajo Nanada Dakkam Navapanchavaram. Uddhattu kamas sanakadi siddhan etad vimarshe Shiva Sutra Jalam. Anybody who's not heard this? Okay, let me explain this. So then I'll pull up something more than this for you. So our Varnamala that we have, that 48, whatever we have, letters are not out of thin air. They don't come out of thin air. We have a reason why they are in that, why they are there. Okay. Now, it's put in a really beautiful way. It came from Nataraja. When he was doing his Ananda Tandava, what he did was, Vrittavasane Nataraja Rajaha, when he was dancing, when Nataraja was dancing, he played his dakka. Dakka is damaru or dakka or that this one, which Shiva has in his hand. Played it, Nava Pancha Varam. Nava is 9, Pancha is 5. 9 plus 5 is what? 14 times. 14 times he played it. Uddhattu kamaha sanakadi siddhan. There were Sanakadi, that is Sanaka, Sananda, Sanatana, Sanat Kumara. These were the Manasaputras of Brahma and they were present there. Etad vimarshe Shiva Sutra Jalam. The 14 sounds that came out were the Varnamala that came. Okay. That is how the Varnamala has come. Okay, let me pull up one more slide here, in which case I had put it up very, very early on in my Satyam class. How do these sounds come about? Yeah. See, there is a way these sounds originate. What is called Aku Kanthe. So if you say and just touch your throat below your this one, you will find that the kavarga and the akara comes from here. Kanthe, that is this part of your this part of the whole what should I say this as the volume, the place where you get your sound box. Okay, this originates here. Okay, then chavarga and ikara and chavarga is taluke. What is taluke? That is basically that you have that small tongue which is hanging from the top at this point here. So without that, there is no way you can ever pronounce cha, cha, ja, ja, nya, e, etc. Ya, sha, etc. Okay. The tavarga comes when your tongue touches the upper part of your lapel system. Without that, you cannot pronounce tavarga. If your tongue is not able to roll upwards, there is no way rakara, tavarga, shakara can ever be pronounced. Murdni, it goes up to the head. Okay. That is tavarga. Then, where is that? Tavarga is danta. If you don't have teeth, there is no way you will say tata dadana. The air has to stop, the teeth has to stop the air that is flowing. Tata dadana cannot be done without that. Otherwise, we'll all be doing ad-libbing. That's all, as children do. If you see children who don't have teeth, they cannot say ta, tata dadana. They'll say le. It will all go in that form. Okay. Then Yamanganana, that is Nasika. Okay, before that. Then anybody wants to try this? Say Padmini without using your lips.
Not possible to do it.
Not possible. It is not possible. That is Oshte. Pavarga is Oshte. That is the lips. The lips have, the lower lip has to hit the upper lip at some point. Pa, pa, ba, ba, ma. Okay. So this is a very, very scientific, this is very deeply analyzed by our rishis. And this is how they have given us this 48 letters that we have got. Okay. And this is one part. Then there is Nasika. Yamanganana. Kaka gaga nga. Nga, nya, na, ma. Without the nasal airflow, there is no way you will be able to pronounce it. Okay. Then there is a certain things which are combination of these. A, I, it has to come from both the kantha and the talu. That is from the throat as well as that the throat. If both of them don't work in sync, you'll never be able to pronounce A and I. So we should all be really thankful if you are able to speak well and pronounce things properly, that we have all these systems working well. We don't realize it, but this is how we should be really doing the Ucharana Sthana. If you are careful and if we observe and practice based on these, our Ucharana will be Parishuddha. Okay. Then Oshtha plus Kantha. O, my lips have to circle around O, Ow, Ow. Okay. Then Va, if I have to say Va, my lips have to be there as well as my teeth have to be in use. This is a critical this one for this. Okay. Then there are two letters which are Dantamula only. Ra. Ra. Only when your tongue hits the teeth will you say Ra. La. You'll never be able to say without that.
Yeah.
Okay. So there are good sutras around this. How Akur Kanthe, Ichuta Aluke, it goes on. But this is the way it is done. So if you have 48 letters that are given to us and we are able to pronounce them properly, that is because all these parts in our facial system are working well. We should be really, really thankful for having this good a facial system. Okay. So this is one very, very important thing. Okay. Yeah. So I had done this very early on. Vargiya Vyanjana. Yeah, this is all. I can probably share this. You can all go through this slide. This was my first class last year when I took it. So how do we get these? So Kakara by, okay, what is the difference between a Swara and a Vyanjana? Without a Swara, Vyanjana has no use. If you add an Akara to this Kakara, only then it can become Ka. Chakara plus Ikara can make it Chi. Ch. I can say Ch. But by itself, it cannot stand on its own. That's why it is called a Vyanjana. In English, you have the 5 vowels, right? So, the A, I, E, the full Swara are the only ones which can stand independently. Others cannot stand independently. That is the second part. Then, yeah, this is something. Then, we have what are called Alpa Prana and Maha Prana. Everybody is aware of Alpa Prana and Maha Prana? Okay. So the Ka, Cha, Ta, Ta, Pa, Ga, Ja, Da, Da, Ba are Alpa Prana. Ya, Ra, La, Va. They are also Alpa Prana. Then there are Maha Prana. Kha, Cha, Tha, Tha, Fa, Pa, Ga, Ja, Da, Da, Ba. So there is a forceful way of pronouncing it. So they are called the Maha Prana. Then you have Anunasika. Ga, ja, na, na, ma. That is without the nasal cavity, you cannot pronounce them. Okay. This Ushmanaha or Ushmavarnaha are also Mahaprana. Sha, sha, sa, ha. Okay. This is the way our, this one is arranged, and this is something that we know. These Vyanjana system we know. Kaka, ganga, cha, 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 nya, ta, 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 na, ta, 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 na, pa, pa, ba, ba, ma. Correct? This is something we are all familiar with. I, U, all those things we are familiar with. What I do want you to do is, okay, one more thing. By the way, if you think that Panini was the first person to give us grammar, sorry, no. What Panini did was, till that point in time, whatever language was existing, he just codified into a set of 3,983 rules. That is the masterpiece of Panini. Today, if we are doing natural language processing, we should thank him for it. These 3,983 rules have not changed one bit in the past 2,800 years, at least. That is the dated time. Okay. So there is nothing like, so a lot of people ask me this question, like, why can't we borrow words into Sanskritam the way we borrow words into, say, English or Hindi or any other language? The reason is simple. The way the language is structured, you give me some object, I can easily find a way to derive its meaning in Sanskritam. Very simple example. There was no way Panini had any access to an electric fan, correct? At that point in time. All that I need, and there was no electricity also at that time, right? But there was something called Vyajanam. They had some way of doing it. All that we need to do is some form of Vidyut Vyajanam. What is Vidyut? Vidyut is generated when there is a lighting. Vidyut is generated when there are so many things. They knew the concept of Vidyut. So there are 100 ways I can do this. Another example, cycle. What is a cycle? Dvichakrika. It has two wheels. There is nothing more than that in that. They are joined together. So there are infinite ways I can keep on deriving words in Sanskritam. So that makes it, that means that there is a way that I don't need to completely depend on some other source to derive something from there into Sanskritam. Of course, a lot of languages depend on Sanskritam to derive a lot of things. Okay, that is one of the key things. So was Panini the first person to come up with grammar? No, I'll show you what was there before that. These are all the Shastras that were there before Panini even came into existence and started writing about Vyakarna. Yaskaracharya's Nirukta, Apishali, Audumbarayana, Chakravarmaha, Agastyaha, Gargyaha, Galavaha, Kasakritsnaha, Shaunakaha. Shaunaka Maharshi is very famous for this. Vyadihi, Shakalyaha. Some of the works that they have is Aindram, Chandram, Kaumaram, Shaktam, etc. Panini himself refers to them and says, I have derived from all these people. So to say that, the Sanskrit language came because of Panini, no, that does not happen. He was an authority who gave for about 2,800 years, nothing has changed beyond that. After Panini, what happened? Yes, we can look at it in some ways. There was Patanjali who wrote the Bhashya for Panini's Ashtadhyayi. Then Vararuchi came up with a Vartika. They were all of his same time period. Then came, after Panini, but Bhattoji Dikshita came up with the Laghu Siddhanta Kaumudi and Siddhanta Kaumudi. This was something that was very deeply done. So all the rules of Panini were somewhere assimilated into this. Then currently you have one lady Pushpa Dikshit. Sa bahu uttamam karyam karishyati idani. She is still doing a lot of it. Paushpi Prakriya. That is the work that she is doing, and she is popularizing Panini's work. She is basically taking everything in Panini and making it easy for people to understand. Okay, so this is something about the grammarians probably that we should know. Okay, so this was one part. I'll probably add that as a this one for everyone to take up. Another thing that I want everyone to be aware of, and that is where, okay, let me now do this work. Okay, what was real Panini's contribution? We saw that the sounds, those 14 sounds that came out from the various facial parts, and that's where the 48 letters that we get are coming from there. Okay. Now the masterpiece, the genius of Panini is not in is the way he rearranged the letters. So let me show you the first sutra, the Shiva Sutrani. I, E, Un, Ril, Rik, A, On, A, Ouch, Ha, Ya, Varata, Lan, Yamangananam, Jabang, Gadadasha, Jabagadash, Kapa, Chata, Chatatav, Kapai. Sorry. Shashasar Hal. Now, if you look at this, this will form A, E, E, O, O. This is a tag. Though any of you from a data science background? Okay, no data science background, that's okay. Look at it as something like a set. This is a set, this is a set, this is a set. I can manufacture, this is the universe of all sets. What I can do is I can manufacture sets out of this. These are end tags. If I say ach, for instance, I take a and this tag cha here, cha. That will mean everything between this a, e, u, r, r, a, o, I, o. So this is a very compact form of representing anything. If I say ik, it means I start from e, e, u, r, r. I have to stop here. If I say ich, it goes from e, u, r, r, a, I, o, I, o. This is the masterpiece of Panini. All his 3,983 rules work on this one principle, this one set, this one universal set from which we can bring out many sets. We will look at some of these in the course. What I want everyone to be familiar with, at least in the first few classes, is make yourself familiar with this form of representation. Okay, next class we'll discuss this in a lot more detail. So, a, e, un, r, rik, a, on, I, ouch, ha, ya, varata, lan, yamangananam, jabanya, gadadash, jabagadadash, kapa chatatav, kapai, shashasara hal. Okay, so the universe of all my swaras will be ach. If I were to look at this, that is all it will do. So this is the beauty, and this is the whole perfect way of representing the Varnamala. And based on this, he has done a lot of work. Okay, so what I will do now is I will open the floor. If anybody has questions around this, please shoot. We'll try to answer them. Don't worry if it's a little too much. We'll discuss this Varnamala for the next class. We'll spend almost a whole class just discussing Varnamala, the way we should look at it in this whole year.
Could you please explain that Nishta Vatane, Lataa?
Yes, Nilima Mahodaya?
Could you please explain that shloka?
Okay. I'll share the presentation itself. I'll send the presentation after the class. Okay. That is basically, it says, it is simple. It is saying Nrittavasane Nataraja Rajo Nanadadakkam Namapanchavaram Uddhattu Kamas Sanakadi Siddhan Yetad Vimarshe Shivasutra Jalam. He created a web. Shivasutra Jalam. Vimarshe Shivasutra Jalam. Jayita Mahodaya, you were saying something.
Yes, sir. So, I mean, I suppose because I have seen the Maheshwar Sutrani, the first bit, the shloka you read, that I don't remember seeing, but the arrangement I have seen before. Something I had heard like a bell or something fell from the damru of Shiva and created these sounds. I don't know. I mean, I seem to remember something like this. I'm not sure.
Have you heard of Damaru, the Dakka that he had?
Yeah, the one that you wrote.
That is what he did. 14 times he did that. Okay, let me show you that, how it becomes 14. I think that is important.
But sir, also like my main question is like, so I suppose maybe because we are at too basic level, but what is the exact use? So you can express how many are being, I mean, how many different swaras or vyanjanas are coming in one this thing, but what is the use of that, like in the language itself?
That is the masterpiece of Padini actually. So, okay, let me explain this to you. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. So each time he did something, this is what came out. First time, un, rak, on, ouch, hayavarat, lan, yamangananam, jabanja, gadadash, jabagadash, kapa chatatacha, tatav, kapai, shashasar, hal. Okay, these are the 14 forms that came out. Okay, now your question is that where is it going to be useful? Why do I need to even cram all this into my head? It is such a painful thing, and it is, first of all, it is I itself is some concept that in LKG I found it difficult to cram. Now why do I need this? Very good question. Now the whole thing is that if we have this, if you look at it, very simple thing. Say we have, what do we have it? If I even go by an order, ka kha ga ga nga, right? Cha cha ja ja nya, ta tha da da na, ta tha da da na, and then pa pa ba ba ma. By that order, I should get nga, nya, na, ma. Correct? If you look at this order, it will make no sense. He starts somewhere with chavarga, then pavarga, then kavarga, then tavarga, then tavarga. Right? But there's a very deep reason for it. See, what happens when you want to map something to something? As we saw, these are the place. See, one key important thing was at that point in time, most of it was oral tradition. How much ever you could make a copy, somebody had to write it up. Unless it was written, there was no other way. The only way was here. You had to store something here. So you have to have some way of tagging in a way that it becomes very easy. We'll see this in a little detail when we do sandhis. So there is a sutra for, say, Iko Yanachi. He'll say something like this. Out of the two, it will hang. If I tell you Iko Yanachi, it will mean nothing. But let me just break that up for you. Ik. Ik will mean E, U, R. Okay, because ik. Yan. Yan will mean Yakara is here, Nakara is here. Yavarala. And it says Achi. Ach. ach. In ach, in the whole thing of ach, wherever you find ik, that is these four, these followed by an ach, that is a to this part, replace that by ha, ya, va, ra, la. E will be replaced by ya, u will be replaced by va, rakara will be replaced by refa, rakara will be replaced by lakara. You see the mapping? So in one simple form, he has created a very complex thing, but it gives a very good mapping going forward. That's just one example. There are 3,983 examples like this.
Sir, so this mapping that you did, but what would the what purpose would it serve to do that?
We will study that.
Like
That's
a code
exactly
sort of thing, then it is like.
That's exactly what we will study.
Okay.
Yeah, we will do that. We will do that in detail. So that's why it will be good if you people. I'm not saying it is mandatory, but it will be good if you can get a hang of this. It is it is good to front load a few things. So to know this and come up with it. Nagaprabha Mahodaya, yes.
Mahodaya, where is Dirgha in this?
Exactly. Exactly. There is no such thing called Dirgha. So this akara will be a and a. Ikara will be e and e. Ukara will be u and u. R will be r and r. R and r. Okay. In Kannada we have a and a, but in Sanskritam we don't have a. We have only ikara. One. That is Dirgha only. From here, these two are only Dirghas. There is no prasva in these. And one more, yeah, that is a good thing that you asked this. How many of you know that any swara can be pronounced in 18 different ways? Any idea? No? Okay, let me show you what.
Something like Pluta. Some three sound.
Yes,
like Risva, Dirgha, and Pluta, no?
Rasva, Dirgha, Pluta. Okay. Best example. In the days of yore when we did not have Google Maps, all that people would do to go from one place to another was, go to some point, then catch hold of a stranger there and say, you know what, hey, tell me where is that place, that person's house, this person's house, that place, this place, etc. Very common. We have all, at least people in this class are all aware of that world. We are not sitting with, if I do one Sanatana Dharma for kids here, but them, I can't even imagine them talking to a stranger. They'll say, sir, can't you have Google Maps? Can't you see it? Why do you need to ask a stranger? That's what they would ask, So in that good old world, if you ask somebody, how do I get to this point? He would say, probably go straight, take a right, go straight to your left, you'll find some place. Now he used two terms, straight. Now there is no concept of straight in English. You only have one word, straight. You can use it as straight. But हिंदी में अगर बोलना है तो सीधा जाओ, बाएं मुड़ जाओ, सीधा जाओ. That's very common in all Indian languages. Now this straight concept comes because we use that. You tell it to anybody in Europe, they will probably shout at you to say, what the hell are you speaking? Why are you spoiling our language? And so on and so forth. I have had enough experience with them in Europe. But the point is that we do have this concept where we go with Pluta. That is the Pluta concept. That means you need to do something longer. His second straight meant that you need to go a longer distance straight. So there is a lot of meaning to what we do. We have a lot of emotions attached to the language that we speak, unlike just speaking words. Okay, how does it become 18? Let me just show you that. So there is Rasva, Dirgha and Pluta. Okay, let me take the example of A or E. Okay, E, E, E. Okay, that's why E, E, E. So if we measure it in terms of matra. If I say E, that is one matra. E is two matra. That is the duration of time. And then E is pluta. Okay. Then you have udatta, anudatta, swarita, the tonal variations. E, E, E. Correct? Three of them. E is swarita. E is anudatta. E is udatta. This is very important in Vedic annotation, especially. Okay. Gananaan tva gadapatim havamahe kavim kavinam upamashravastamam jyeshtarajam brahmanan brahmanaspatan shrinvannotibhissi dasadanam. This will sound exactly the same whether I chant it or somebody else chants it anywhere else on this planet, if they have learned it properly. The reason is simple. These udatta, anudatta, swaritas are very clearly mapped out. That's why in a group, when people are chanting this, you will not find one person going out. We don't need a choreographer, or we don't need a conductor or a master of ceremonies to say, hey, you go first, you go high, nothing like that. We do so many of Rudra Prashna and all these extremely powerful mantras that 100 people sitting together, you will find only one tone coming. No, this one at all. In fact, they used to give me a good example in olden days when there was no question of people getting a certificate for Veda chanting and things like that. No, so all that they would do was whenever there would be this chariot being pulled, let's say the Jagannath Yatra or something like that in the village or in some place, the set of inner circle would be chanting mantras, Vedic mantras, who would be surrounded by the chariot. All that they would do was hold each other's hand and form a circle so that nobody is getting too close to the chariot. And they would chant this mantra and go on. Right? All of them had to chant in the same form. There was a way of failing people. The simplest way of failing, and that meant you went away, was if somebody chanted one udatta or one anudatta out of place. All that they would do was both the people holding his hand by the side would leave the hand. That person would have to move back, and this person, they both would hold it back. These two would join. That's it. You have failed the exam there. That was the simplest way of doing it. Okay. So that is three of them. Then you have Anunasika and Ananunasika. What we are doing now is Ananunasika. I can say etc. So those are two of them. So if I multiply this, I'll get 3 into 3 into 2, 18 of them. Okay. So this is what, okay, this Rikara is just an Udarana that I've given. But this is how we get 18 ways of pronouncing any swara. So that's how deep the science is. So the science of pronunciation. And why did we need this? To preserve all our knowledge was oral tradition, which meant your way you are pronouncing things, the way you are saying things had to be crystal clear. So that's how we had got this whole knowledge system, and that's why it is preserved. So even if somebody chanted Ganana Tva Ganapatim Havamahe 100 years back, it would sound exactly the same. Today it will sound the same, it will sound the same in future also. Without any written forms or any written this one. That's how we have had it. Yeah. Any other questions?
Mahoday, in the print form, is there any representation? Rasva Dirga we know. So there are characters are there.
Pluta is simple. Okay, let me take that. So pravye Ye yajamana yashunvate. So you put a 3 after that dirgha. So that is 3 matras. It has to go for 3 matra. So we get a lot of this in Taittiriya Upanishad especially. Ha, uha, uha, u.
Sir, like English as we write now.
That is avagraha chinna. That we will do that. That will come in Sandhi. Hang in for a few classes there. Yeah.
So the Udatta and Anudatta signs, like the top one bar and the bottom bar, that is come from Vedic times only. It is supposed to be like that only, or it's that like a modification? It's been like that.
It's a Vedic time only. So in a modern time context, I'll give you an example. Let us say somebody is entering or somebody, I want to ask somebody to go. I can say, go. I can say, go. I can go. Right? It's as simple as that. And these have a lot of meaning when you do Vedic chanting. Because you're invoking a lot of sound and a lot of energy there. So the tone with which you're invoking that represents your mental state in a lot of ways.
No, I meant actually, I meant the signs for that, like, you know, that bar and 1 bar, 2 bars, that also was like that only.
Yes,
that is how it was.
Yes, because see, everything originates at the Vedic times, right? Nothing that has come after that. So
sometimes, like people, when English translations, or sometimes you don't know, like they do transliteration, they will put different things. So I just wanted to make sure that this is like from the original Sanskritam only.
So yes, in fact, that is the original Sanskritam.
Of course.
Okay. For instance, yaf prani diyayo, ya atmada balada yasya vishwa upasate prajishanyasya devaha. Okay, this is one of the mantras. Ya atmada. If you look at it in the way Panini's this one comes about, you will not say yaha atmada. That is not the way. Yotmada it would become actually by Panini's rules, but that is not the way it is to be done. Similarly, I'll give you another example. A lot of people will say Agni is fire. Anybody who disagrees with Agni is fire?
Well, that inner and outer distinction is there, right? The inner fire, like, I don't know if that is what you mean, or.
So Agni is not fire. I'll tell you why. The moment I say Jatar Agni, what is Jatar Agni?
Digestion.
Digestive force.
Digestive force. Right. Digestive force. Now, I can easily translate this to fire in the belly. I mean, the crudest form of stupid translation that it can take you. And so now you immediately know that it's wrong. Right. That's where the translation, there's a limitation of the language in English. It's not about this one. So Agni is essentially a thermodynamic process for us. Now that could be through a fire, that could be just through a heat. If I were to really use Agni, it should be a thermodynamic process. Now there are various forms of Agni. There is Deepa, there is Jwala, there is Vanhi. There are so many forms. If I say Vanhi, it is a very different way of Agni. It's like a raging fire. See, the first mantra of Rigveda says, Agni le astu mohade. Dhanyavadaha bhavati agatavati.
Dhanyavadaha.
Agni le purohitam yagyasya devam ritvijam. I cannot replace that Agni with Vanni. Sorry, not working. Amarakosha may say it is okay. It can be somewhat a synonym, but it is not working. You cannot replace that Agni with anything else. Similarly, we have Jataveda says Sunama Masoma Marathi Yato Nidaha Divedaha. Jataveda is another Agni. You cannot replace that Jataveda with another form of Agni. Sorry. There are deep meanings and connotations to each word and each letter that we use. Very, very important. And that's where it becomes critical to know how it is being done. Unfortunately, so yeah, yesterday I was seeing a video, a beautiful video, and it was very clearly said, how do you learn a language? You first learn it by hearing, then by speaking, then by reading, and then by writing. Unfortunately, when we come to our own mother tongue and our own tongue of the land of Sanskrit, what do? We do it exactly in the reverse way. We start reading it because we know some Devanagari. Nobody is there to speak, first of all. We don't know who is speaking, so we can't hear it. Whatever little we hear it through the shlokas or mantras or whatever. That's about it, and nothing else. Right? Okay. So with this, I think we should conclude for today. We'll take up more questions and things. We are already 6 minutes past. So thank you for everyone for staying back for more than 6 minutes more. So what I will do, two things. Probably it will be good if you people can do it. Try to memorize the Shiva Sutrani. That is basically I own. It will be very useful. Throughout the course, it will be very useful. Let me assure you that. Okay, that one part. Our way of looking at the Varnamala will change a little. But that will help us quite a bit. Okay, that is one thing. Second thing, I have this shloka, Agajana Padmarkam. Everybody is aware of this shloka?
Mahodaya.
Agajanana Padmarkam, Gajananam Maharnisham, Anekadantam Bhaktanam, Ekadantam Upasmahe. This is in some way referring to Ganapati. What I want you to do is probably write it down and come up with how this represents Ganapati. Okay. The second one is sort of something that I created. So, Kamini, Swatprakashini, Kashmira Puravasini, Vidyadhayini, Tandevi, Tvatvindeham Sadam. So, this is something that I said, okay, Kashmira Puravasini Saraswati. So, these two are very simple shlokas. If you can just come up with some way of, based on your understanding, if you can come up with, do the Padacheda and come up with this for the next class, that will be helpful. Okay.
I think they are there in the Pravesha book.
Sorry?
Only the
No, Padacheda and all are not there. Only meaning is there.
Padacheda is not there.
Padacheda is not there.
Try. It is not mandatory. Try it. How
Sir,
does...
Sir, what is Padacheda?
Yeah, okay, we'll do that next class. No, that's nothing. Forget whatever I just said. Okay, some of them have been in my Sasyam class, some of them have done a bit, but that's okay. Forget it. We'll do everything from scratch next class. Okay? Okay. So for today's class, I'll just end with a nice mantra that I came across. So, okay. So let's end it with this. Om Samidhyavase Vrishannagne Vishwanyarya Ilaspade Samidhyase Sano Vasunya Bhara Sangachadvam Samvadadvam Samvomanam Sijanata Deva Bhagam Yatha Purve Sanjanana Upasate Samano Mantra Samitis Samani Samanam Manasa Chittamesha Samanam Mantramapi Mantrayevat Samane Navo Havisha Johomi Samani Va Akut Samana Hridayani Vaha Samanamastu Vo Mano Yatha Vatsu Sahatati Om Purnamadam Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vasishyate Om Shanti 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 Hari Om Shri Krishna Arpanamastu. So throughout the year we'll probably do this Sangachadvam Samvadadvam Samvo Manamsi Janata. We'll all go together. Samvo Manamsi. We'll all have Manaskaha Bhavamaha Astuva Samano Mantra Samiti Samanam. We'll learn it together. Dhanyavadaha. Thank you so much. So we'll meet in the next class, next Thursday.